Alright, I got the red brick and some lacquer, and I'm gonna try and make a little spot out of this here concrete here. So let's see how it works. Okay, so I'm not sure how much I need to sand the ledge. It doesn't feel completely smooth to me, but this location isn't the maybe the best spot. I thought it was going to, but yeah, the rub brick is really loud. But apparently you're supposed to use lacquer on top of that, and then you wax it. It should work really good. So trial and error. We'll see what happens. All right, and now we just gotta wait for it to dry, and hopefully it should be easy to wax and easy to grind on. So let's see. Yeah, and if you haven't noticed, I finally got myself some new scooter wheels. Picked them up off of Amazon, and they go great with the color scheme. So if you're a scooter rider out there, you can shop through the description and pick yourself up same pair. And no, don't get mad at me for supporting Amazon for a scooter rider, because these wheels are actually sold by Aztec, so shut your mouth. Woohoo! Okay, honey, I'm back from my business trip. Honey, honeys. Forgot to turn my light on. No, I didn't actually go on a business trip. I got my briefcase, and it looks like I did though, doesn't it? So I'm gonna be going on the fly today. We're talking about the CG9810 and this is the best thrift store find I think I've found yet. Not camera quality wise, you know, it's not like a spectacular, awesome, good camera, but the shape that it's in is actually what makes it probably the best one that I've found so far. Now I'm gonna be going on the fly a little bit. I couldn't find really any manuals online, and I've already kind of done a review on this camera. I'll get to that in a second. So if you want to go and check that out, I will leave a link in the cards above if you want to check out the actual camera of what this is. But yeah, I guess I probably could have dug a little bit deeper on Google to find a manual for this thing, but it kind of seems like it's a little hard, and there's not really much going on with it because it is a VHS camera. Now, you can't really see it, but I got this for like 20 bucks at the thrift store in town, and it was actually at one of the thrift stores that I never ever find camcorders at. So it was actually pretty rare. If you live on like the West Coast or like the Northwest area, if you've ever heard of the DI or Deseret Industries, that's actually where I got this from. And the one that's here in town they just suck. Like they're more like clothes based. I mean, I know a lot of thrift stores are, but man, their electronics section just sucks. Their collectibles section is awful. It's like a lot of old toys and stuff, or I don't know, just not, or like vintage things. I don't really care for. I mean, I guess you could consider this vintage. But yeah, so I found it there, and I was actually pretty stoked. I tested it while I was there, and it works phenomenal. So I'll open it up and show you guys. And this is a full-size VHS camera or camcorder, and it has its own specific little compartments, just like the other camera I'm gonna talk about and compare it to. But so you do get the well, the camera here itself. It actually came with 2 batteries that were original GE batteries. They definitely don't work anymore, because if anybody has ever used the VHS camera, full-size one, they use lead acid batteries, and those things actually kind of have a garbage lifespan in them. And so since this one is like 40 years old almost, they're definitely not going to be able to take a charge. So I don't have everything in here because I've been playing around with it. I keep meaning to take it out and use it, but I keep freaking leaving it at home accidentally. Like just before I started filming this video, like today, I went out and rode my scooter and I completely forgot to bring this case with me. I had everything else with me. I had my bag, my tripod, everything, and then I forgot to bring the freaking camera, or I forget to charge the battery or something, or I forget to put a VHS tape in it. So I don't know what my deal is lately. Maybe it's because I've been sick, and I feel like I've been kind of a whiny little baby lately on just like making videos. I just like I've been so busy. I haven't had time to make videos, or I'm sick, I can't make any videos. So I just feel like I've been making excuses. Part of it I have been sick, and part of it I've just been doing other things rather than make videos, kind of procrastinating stuff. Anyway, I'll shut the hell up about that. We'll close that. So I tossed those batteries. Now I don't know if you can recycle lead acid batteries or not, but I threw them away. Not sure if I'm supposed to or not, but if you've watched my channel for long enough, maybe this charger looks familiar to you. Or maybe you've been online looking for stuff and maybe it looks familiar to you. I'm gonna turn that up just a tad. And it might just look like something else. Well, I have my personal favorite VHS camera here, and this is the Panasonic PV420, and it also has the exact same charger with it. And I like these Panasonic cases a lot better, and you can actually tell that they're the exact same camera. Like all the features and everything, they're just a different color. Now, the one thing that is great about this General Electric one, and this is probably one of the first times I've ever seen it, is you still have, I'll pull that out. The foam is still on the microphone right there. It's not decaying, it's not flaking or anything like that. So I'm actually very surprised on the shape that this thing's in. So it's pretty nice. I mean, these things are so similar that they actually take the exact same battery. So if you have yourself a Panasonic PV420, or maybe like a General Electric like this one, or I think like Magnavox has some, and there might be some other ones as well, but they're pretty much all just rebranded, rebadged Panasonic VHS cameras, and a lot of them use these big brick lead acid 12-volt batteries. A lot of people ask me where to get these batteries. You can find them on eBay generally. Like that one was a brand new one. I don't remember if I think I got it off of eBay, but last time I looked, man, like people were selling new batteries for like almost $100. So I don't really know if you can still find them. So I will sell this camera. We'll move this one over here. I will be selling this camera, and you'll be able to pick it up for yourself. If I can find a new battery for it, I will include one as well. I mean, that'll definitely up the cost on it, but you won't be stuck to a power cord if I end up doing that. So, and if you actually keep a full charge in these batteries last for like, you'll run for like 6 hours on one battery, I swear. But I mean, this thing is in pristine shape. Now, obviously it doesn't have an LCD screen. It has a black and white viewfinder. So it's weird because you'll use your index finger to record and your middle and your ring finger to use the zoom in and out on it. You can see that the record button is back there, the little red button, and then you have your rocker zoom there as well. Now, this thing has a 1-speed in and a 1-speed out. It doesn't have a variable zoom on it, and the 1-speed zoom is insanely slow. Like it's annoyingly slow. So you'll actually have these, and there's a lot of older VHS cameras that have these. You have this little tab here, and you can actually manually zoom that up and down, and then you have your manual focus as well. So it's actually really nice that you can actually adjust and use those. You have to turn the manual focus off because there is a little motor in there that runs that. So if you are manually focusing it while it's in autofocus, you might damage like the little motor that's in there, or maybe the gears, because it'll fight with you and you can hear it. But you do get some functions here on the side, some 80s, 1990s effects, if you will. By the way, this camera is from 1989, the same exact year as this Panasonic PV420. But you do get a fade, you get a backlight button to turn it on and off, you get your HS shutter, along with a self-timer or a time lapse, and you get your white balance. So in the center, the little switch is auto. If you switch it to the left, it's tungsten, so for indoor shooting. And then if you switch to the right, it's for outdoor shooting. So depending on what you want, or you can have it fixed more orange. Along with that, like I said, you got your, you have a switch down here for your manual and auto focus right here. Turn it on or off, along with all of your buttons for your date and time code here. So you can have your little date and time stamp down in the bottom corner of your videos. And like I said, I'm kind of just going off a whim today. I don't have any notes or bullet points or specs or anything like that for this thing, so I'm just kind of talking out of my ass right now. So I always find the power button, or I guess the switch for these, kind of interesting. So it's a little switch up here, and you just push it back and it'll just turn on. So you just do that, and now the tape's running, and the light will come on to let you know that it's running. If you can see it, little red light right next to the power switch, and then when you're done with it, you just do it again and it turns it off. So it's super cool. To access playback is really interesting too. There must be some kind of switch or something that recognizes it, but you have this like kind of shaded little thing right here, and if you were here you could probably see the buttons underneath of it. But when you go to watch playback, you just take it and you just slide it like that, and then now you have your playback functions there, and it'll actually switch it right into playback mode as well. So then when you're done with it and you want to keep recording or whatever, you just slide it back and it puts it in record mode. You have your eject button here, so you can access the gigantic memory card, also known as a full-size VHS tape. I love playing with these kinds of cameras around people who don't really know a lot about like retro camcorders or like vintage camcorders, because you'll whip these out and everybody kind of finds them fascinating, and they're like, whoa, is that a VX? I get asked that all the time. Is that a VX 1000? I like eject the tape and I show them this, and their eyes get all big. They're like, that's the freaking, you actually record to a full-size VHS tape? It's like, yeah. So yeah, pretty much like these older VHS cameras, they're really just a VCR with a lens attached to it and a mic. So like you can watch old VHS movies if you wanted to. You just can't record to the tapes. So on the back, sorry, my voice is messed up. Told you I'm sick. Boo-hoo. You got those top buttons up there are your tracking buttons. So I think you can, like a what do they call it? Search record. So you can actually, like, while you're in record mode, you can kind of rewind and watch the clip that you just did, or you can like fast forward while you're in record mode. So you don't have to switch it over into playback to mess with the tape or watch your footage back real quick. You do get a 2.5mm remote jack. So kind of similar to like a Sony LANC remote, just like a wired remote, so you can control it away from the camera. And then you also have a headphone jack on the back there, and that one's a 3.5mm. So it's actually really cool because, so even though this thing's from 1989, or these, I guess, you still get, well, you get audio, obviously, but you get your headphone jack. And you actually get, might be hard to see, there's a little hole right there, and that is a microphone plug-in. Along with that, on top, you do get a cold shoe mount up here. So you can actually hook up a self-powered microphone to this and actually get like some better audio than what comes out of the little mic here. So if you have yourself a fancy microphone that you paid like $300 for or something, you can actually plug it in here as long as it's self-powered, and you can actually attach it to this and you'll have audio. Only issue is it's mono, because you know every camcorder back in the day had mono audio, but I mean it's still cool, you know. I don't know how much these were back in the day, but I mean the fact that you get a microphone jack, a headphone jack, and a cold shoe mount on it, along with even like a carrying handle. I mean, I know it's a heavy VHS camera, but the fact that you get all that with a VHS camera is actually really cool. Like, it's not professional in any means, but like you can still monitor the audio and you can still get better audio. So just really cool. And then you can choose between manual zoom or the servo zoom, along with manual focus and auto white balance, and 2 different fixed white balances, and even a time lapse. So that's actually really cool. So I mean, for it being from 1989, like, these things were freaking, they actually had some pretty decent features in them. So a lot of the VHS cameras that you see are generally either made by Panasonic or RCA. I think JVC hopped off the full-size VHS bandwagon. Pretty early on, they made a lot of different VHS-C camcorders, which are the smaller little VHS tapes. But the thing that I like about the Panasonic ones over the RCA ones is probably the top handle here, because you can actually, if you want to, like, you can hold it and get like a lower shot or just carry it around. A lot of the RCA ones, like, they're meant to like fold down into the camera while you're using it, and these ones are solid plastic, so they keep their form. They're not, you know, they're not moving. And a lot of the RCA ones are rubber, especially from like the 90s. They're like the kind of smaller black ones. If you've seen my reviews on the RCA cameras that I've done, like, one of them, they always just like dry rot and break because they're just rubber. So once they break, I mean, you're screwed. You can't hold it from the top anymore. So that's why I like the Panasonic ones a lot better. But another thing that people always ask me about is how you capture the footage from one of these if you don't have like a VCR to put your tape in. A lot of people, now you get lucky if you get these, but there's this little adapter here, and you have your video and your audio out, and then like the power supply plug in here. So you don't actually need one of these, but it makes it less complicated or less messy, I guess, if you have one of these. So it really just plugs into the back here, and you just plug it into like the little power source on the back, and I forget which way it goes in, and it plugs in on the back like that, and then you can hook up your AV cables to your whatever like kind of video recorder that you have or whatever. However, which way that you would capture your footage, but you don't have to do it like this, because like I said, these little adapters are actually really rare to find with your camera if you buy one or find one at like a thrift store. So you can actually do the same thing with your battery charger, because you notice that it has these RCA plugins here, or your AV plugins. So you get 2 of them, and one side is for an in source and one side is an out source. So you can hook it up and you can actually record things to the tape. So say you can hook it up to like your DVR, like a Dish Network or something, and like if you have RCA, you can actually record a football game or something to the tape on here. Or if you want to capture your footage, you use the outsource, and it's marked on here as well. It'll tell you which one is in, which one is out. So for capturing your footage from this, you want to use the out. So what you do is you will, wow, this one's all tangled up, but you have your plug-in here that looks just like the little adapter that I just showed you, and you just plug it into the back of the camera, where if I know what I'm doing, there, plug it in the back right there, and then you'll make sure that you plug it into the wall here with your power source. And then now your charger is also a power supply, but you can actually change it so that, where is it, line? I haven't used this in a while. There's a little switch on this side where it tells you where the power is and the charge light is. There's a switch that says camera or line. And I don't remember which one that you need to set it to for it to recognize that there's a signal. I think it's camera. You have to play around with that. But yeah, so pretty much you'll just run your AV cables from here. Now that it's plugged into the back of your camera, you can run your AV cables from here into your capture device, and you'll hit play on your tape and hit record on whatever way that you capture, and you're recording your VHS footage. So if you didn't know that, now you do, because even if you don't have a battery, you have to have one of these charger / power supplies, because like I said, if you don't have a battery, this is the only way that you can turn it on. And you can still find new batteries. I don't know if they're refurbished or not, but you can't find any charger. So if you ever go to buy one of these style of VHS cameras, make sure that it comes with one of these power adapters slash V adapter slash battery chargers, because this is the only way that you can charge your battery. If you don't have this, your brand new battery will be completely useless. So make sure you have one of these. Okay, so now a little section for all my skateboarders out there. So I don't know if anybody has had the wild hair up their ass to try filming skateboarding with one of these big ass cameras, but it's pretty fun. It's kind of hard because it's heavy and they're bulky, but you can run a fisheye with these. And if you've ever tried to run a fisheye and you've ran into some difficulties, I'm here to help. So, I forget what size the lens threads are. I want to say they're a 46, but generally they'll come with a little lens hood here, and you can just take that off because it's on some threads. And there you go. There is your threads here. I know this isn't really much of a review on this camcorder, but I mean, I already have a review on the PV420, so they're literally identical. So if you want to see the review on that, you can check out the cards above because they're the exact same. I just wanted to make a quick little video, and this is actually becoming a much more longer video. So you get your fisheye, and you can actually find different fisheye sizes. This one is a 58 millimeter. Did I say that this was a 46 millimeter? I think so. Let's see. So I generally keep a little baggie here of just a bunch of different like step up and step down rings, because I always seem to have to buy a new one anytime I make a video, because I find it really fun to film with retro camcorders with fisheye. A lot of my test footage is at skate parks and stuff, so I just have fun with it. So let's find, is this a 52? No, okay, no, I'm pretty sure it's a 46. Oh, what about a 49? Wait a second, is it actually? No way, it's a 49? This one's not a 49, is it? Oh my gosh, that gives me a freaking awesome idea. I just learned something. These are not a 46, I got a 49. I have a 49 to a 37 millimeter step down ring. So because I have a 37 millimeter fisheye as well, it's gonna make it a lot wider and a lot better to use a smaller fisheye on a bigger lens than it would be to use a bigger fisheye on a smaller lens thread. Because if you use a bigger fisheye on a smaller lens thread, it'll pretty much just act like a wide angle. It won't be like a fisheye. So I'm gonna change this and grab my 37 millimeter. Oh, I wish I would've got test footage. I think I'm gonna have to just get some test footage with this now. I gotta do it with the 37 millimeter just to see what it's like. And I feel like I've beat this horse to death, but if you have, or if you're looking for an Optica fisheye, this one is also an Optica, but if you're looking for one of those, buy one of the Voyage fisheyes. They're identical. I actually checked out a 72 millimeter. I did my giveaway. I put a 72 millimeter in it. The way that it's packaged, it even comes in this little case here. Like, they're identical. They just have different threads on them. So here is my 37 millimeter. I'm actually so freaking stoked for this. I really want to see what this looks like. Now, the farther away your fisheye sits from your camera, the more wide it'll be, or the more like vignetta you'll see. So you'll get like them little black things in the corner of your frame. So those will get bigger the farther away your fisheye is. So you can use the spacer ring that these fisheyes come with, and it'll give you that vignetta. But if you're not looking for the vignetta, is that how you say it? I don't know. I think I say it all the time. I apologize. If you're not looking for that, you can take the spacer off and you can get rid of it, but you won't have as wide of a shot. So I'm gonna go ahead and thread this on here. I can't believe that it's a 49. I swear it was a 46. Okay, it looks kind of funny on there, doesn't it? The little tiny fisheye. So I think it's gonna work better though. So what you have to do when you're running a fisheye is these VHS cameras have a macro mode on it, and that's what this little green button is on the zoom ring here. So you actually have to push that little button in, and then it'll actually go lower, and you can go into macro mode, so you can get like macro shots and stuff. Because if you don't have it in macro mode, you'll have a blurry image, so it has to focus closer because of the fisheye is so wide. So if you put it in macro mode, you have to kind of fine tune it in macro mode, but once you get it in there, you just don't touch it and just make sure you're zoomed all the way out. I'm gonna put it in manual focus because I think that's gonna help, and then you just turn it to infinity. And I have to adjust the lens hood on it, But anytime you use a fisheye, it doesn't matter what camera you use, you just make sure that the big fin is always on the top and the bottom. Don't have it like on the sides, or else you'll see it in the frame. I don't know why it works like that, but it does. So I just kind of loosened it. I'm not really doing a lot with it, but that is so wide. The thing is though, is I can't, because it's a smaller fisheye, I have to usually zoom in because you get a lot of vignetta. So I can't really zoom in with this because it'll take it out of macro mode. So we'll have to, I gotta play around with this and see how it looks. Speaking of the footage, actually really quick, I meant to say this, I'm glad I didn't forget. For some reason, I feel like the footage that comes out of this is like less quality than what actually comes out of the Panasonic PV420. I don't know why, like they're the exact same camera. Maybe it's because I've like taped over footage that I already have on my tape, maybe that's why. But yeah, so this thing is actually insanely wide right now. Oh my gosh, I gotta play with it. So, okay, the one cool thing about these is I have a mess going on. That's what's cool about it. The cool thing about these cameras is, at least what I like about it, is I like the footage that comes out of it. Like, there's a lot of different VHS looks out there, but for some reason, maybe it's the sensor that's in it, and especially the PV420. If you're outside and you put it in like the daylight white balance, it just has such a warm, like soft look. I don't really know how to explain it, but it doesn't make your image orange. It just makes it like perfectly like warm, like cozy feeling almost. And if you zoom in on things, you can kind of get like a good like shallow depth of field. And there's a lot of different things that are like, the background of stuff is like nice and like fuzzy looking, but like with the way that the VHS looks and that warm looking footage, I love it. You get the shallow depth of field when you zoom in, the warm fuzzy footage, and that nostalgic VHS look. I don't know, like these are honestly, like the Panasonic PV420 is probably one of my favorite cameras because of that. Like I had one like 5 or more years ago and I sold it, and I was like, why did I do that? I freaking love the footage that came out of that camera. So I found another one, and this one's in really good shape. But yeah, if you haven't messed around with one of these, I definitely recommend getting one for yourself and just playing around with it, and you'll kind of see what I mean, because they just have a awesome look to them. I don't know. And I haven't played around with a lot of full-size VHS cameras, but out of the ones that I have played around with, these ones are definitely my favorite as for now. And one more thing I want to show you, because I've been meaning to like make videos and stuff like this on these, and I feel like now I'm just kind of getting around to it in one video. So if you're bored, I apologize. But a long time ago, I don't know if there's a subscriber anymore or if they ever were, but somebody recommended me getting a PV-G40. And I'm like, what the heck is that? So I looked into it, and I got it off of eBay, I think for like $15. It's a character generator, and it's a freaking keyboard that goes on top of the camera. And when I got it, it had batteries that you put in it, and they were completely still good. Like this thing was unused, like still in the package. Like I had to pop the batteries out and put them in it. So hopefully it still works. I kind of just want to show you like what it looks like. I forget how it works, but pretty much like you can make like custom titles, and you can make like just different words that are across the screen, and it's pretty much like the whole screen. Like you could have like a freaking paragraph if you wanted to. It's just, it takes time to put it in and kind of learn how it works. You get there's your keyboard and stuff, and like all of your different functions and stuff. I haven't played with it for a while, like I said, but it's still a really cool like accessory. So the way that it works, I'll fold up the viewfinder. I keep hitting the mic, I apologize. Forget how it works. So yeah, you have this kind of like cold shoe bracket here, and one side goes, well, that part goes into your cold shoe, and then I think this part slides on the camera, not the camera. It slides on this here, and there's one way you put it on. You slide it in, tighten it down. And it's cool too, because they made it so that you still get a cold shoe here on top. You have this cable that's here, and that's actually the source for your viewfinder. So if you don't have this plugged in, or this is damaged in some kind of way, your viewfinder won't turn on. So you can actually unplug that, and you have the little plug in there. So you unplug that, and then you take your plug-in from the character generator, and it plugs in the exact same way, but it has this back part that's a female, so that way your viewfinder can plug into that and still work. So we will go like that. So you plug it in like that and it'll snap in. Then you just take the same cable from your viewfinder and you'll plug it into the back side of that. So you have like two cables plugged in one, you can see here. So now if all is working well, hopefully, well, if the batteries are still good in this, when you turn it on, you'll be able to like add titles and words and stuff on the screen as your video is playing. So it's super cool. But yeah, whoever that subscriber is that suggested this, or person, hopefully you're still watching the channel, because yes, I did actually buy this. It's just, so there you go. I guess you have this awesome setup for a camera rig. You got your VHS camera with the fisheye here on the front and your character generator up here. This thing is packed to the brim with features now. You can even take your mic and throw it on there. And there you go. Now you got yourself a crazy contraption. You have your powered microphone, you got your character generator on there, and you got your freaking fisheye. 37mm fisheye on a 49mm thread. This thing is wild. It looks kind of like a professional camera now, doesn't it? I don't know. Anyway, so I think that's all I got for this video. Like I said, I was just going off on a whim. I didn't have any specs or anything for this video. I was really just like, you know, I want to make this video and just kind of showcase this camera really quick. And it kind of just turned into how you can do things with VHS cameras, along with kind of showing you some of the features on here. So this General Electric one will be for sale. I don't know if it'll be when this video comes out, but it will be for sale. So just keep an eye out on my eBay store. I usually try to keep cameras on there for people. I don't usually have a lot because I don't want to blow all my money. But yeah, I have like other camera accessories and stuff. I have some of these full-edge fisheyes that I was talking about on there. I've been kind of dabbling with the drop shipping idea. So that's a good way to support the channel if you want to do so. Another way is just by watching the videos. You can buy things through the Amazon affiliate links. That helps me out a lot. And you can join the channel membership if you want. Like I've said before, I don't really do much with that, but yeah, you can like sign up for like 99 cents a month if you wanted to, and just show your support that way. So yeah, thanks for watching. I kind of got a mess. I know I was all over the place in this video, but yeah, if you found it entertaining or informative, helpful in any way, definitely leave a like. Let me know if you've ever played with any of these kinds of VHS cameras before, or maybe you owned one back in the day if you're of that age. Yeah, let me know what kind of cameras you want to see on the channel in the future, and we will see you in the next video. Have a good one.